Do this once and people will never see you the same. There is one decision, just one shift, you can make today that will silently command respect, raise your value in every room, and flip the way the world responds to you. Not with arrogance. Not with loud demands. But with a quiet, unshakable inner standard that says, I know who I am. Most people walk through life begging for approval. Negotiating their worth. Bending and shrinking themselves just to fit into spaces they've already outgrown. They mistake compliance for kindness, availability for love, and self-sacrifice for loyalty. But the moment you stop chasing validation and start honoring yourself, everything changes. If you do this one thing, even once, people will look at you differently. They will sense it without a word being spoken. They'll feel it in your energy. And energy doesn't lie. You teach the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. That's why today, we're going to break down exactly what this shift looks like, what to do, how to do it, and what it unlocks. Number 1, withdraw undeserved excess access. There comes a moment in life where you must face a hard truth: your time, your energy, and your presence are sacred. Not everyone deserves access to them. The mistake most people make is believing that being endlessly available, always saying yes, always accommodating, always picking up the phone at the first ring, will somehow win them respect, loyalty, or recognition. But it doesn't. In fact, the opposite happens. The more freely you give away your energy to people who haven't earned it, the more they begin to devalue you. It's not personal, it's human nature. What is given without cost is often taken without appreciation. Think about it. The friend who only calls when they need something, the coworker who always borrows your time but never returns the favor, the partner who expects you to carry the emotional weight while they contribute the bare minimum. Every time you say yes to them while saying no to yourself, you silently teach them how to treat you. You signal that your boundaries are negotiable. That your worth can be discounted. That your presence is cheap. But the moment you decide to withdraw access, not with anger, not with drama, not even with an explanation, but with calm self-respect, something shifts. Suddenly people notice. Suddenly they feel the absence of what they used to take for granted. The calls you used to answer instantly now go unanswered. The favors you once said yes to are now politely declined. The emotional labor you always carried is no longer yours to hold. And here's what's remarkable. The moment you stop showing up for people who never showed up for you, you begin to attract people who do. Why? Because your silence communicates more than your words ever could. You no longer beg to be understood. You no longer fight to prove your loyalty. You no longer invest in relationships that only drain you. You become unavailable to chaos, to manipulation, to half-efforts dressed as commitment. Instead, you choose peace. You choose stillness. You choose to give your best to those who see your value without needing to be convinced. And yes, some people will react badly. They'll accuse you of changing. They'll say you've become cold, distant, selfish. Let them. Because the truth is this: those who benefited from your lack of boundaries will always be uncomfortable when you finally set them. You are not responsible for managing other people's reactions to your self-respect. You are only responsible for protecting your peace. So let them feel your silence. Let them sit in the empty space where your presence used to be. You owe no explanations, no warnings, no grand speeches. Your energy speaks for you now. From this point forward, your availability is earned, not assumed. Your time is precious, not negotiable. Your heart is sacred, not a playground for indecisive people. Withdraw access from those who only remember you when they need something. From those who drain you with chaos but never fill you with consistency. From those who clap when you're quiet but vanish when you speak your truth. Start showing up more for yourself. Pour into your own cup. Protect your mental space, your schedule, and your emotional energy like the priceless currency it is. Because once you withdraw excess access, the world begins to treat you differently, not because you've become someone new, but because you've finally remembered who you've been all along. Number 2, speak less, observe more. There is a certain quiet power only the wise possess, the ability to speak less and observe more. We live in a world that rewards noise. Where people are quick to argue, quick to defend, quick to prove themselves. Where silence is mistaken for weakness. But in truth, silence is one of the sharpest weapons you can carry. The one who can hold silence becomes the most powerful presence in the room. Not because they dominate. Not because they are loud. But because they are deeply aware. When you speak less, you stop reacting from emotion and start responding from wisdom. You notice more. You begin to hear the tone beneath words, to feel the energy behind actions, to see the hidden intentions behind smiles. You start hearing what people aren't saying. Silence sharpens your perception like a blade. It allows you to study everything, the way someone avoids eye contact when they lie, the way they change the subject when truth gets too close, the way their effort fades once they think they've secured you. Most people miss these signs because they're too busy talking, too eager to prove they belong, too desperate to validate their worth. But when you hold your tongue and simply observe, the world unfolds before you like a map. You see who people really are, not who they pretend to be. And once you learn to observe, you no longer feel the need to chase anyone. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain your boundaries. You don't need to defend your silence. You just watch, and then you make quiet, decisive choices. That's where your power lives. While others exhaust themselves trying to be liked, you're paying attention. While others speak just to be seen, you're reading the room. And that awareness becomes your advantage. The people who talk too much often reveal their fears. The people who over-explain often reveal their insecurities. The people who constantly need to be heard often reveal their lack of inner peace. But when you speak less, you conserve your energy. Your words become intentional. Your sentences become deliberate. People lean in when you finally speak, because your silence has already commanded their respect. And here's the truth, mystery creates magnetism. In a world where everyone overshares, discretion makes you rare. The less you reveal, the harder you are to predict. The less you react, the harder you are to manipulate. People can no longer control you with guilt or pressure because you've mastered the art of watching without responding. And here's what's profound, the less you say, the more you hear. The more you hear, the more you learn. The more you learn, the less likely you are to be deceived. Observation becomes your superpower. It protects you from unnecessary pain, wasted time, and misaligned relationships. But to live this way, you must trust yourself. You must be okay with not proving your point. You must be okay with being misunderstood. You must be okay with walking away without giving closure that others never earned. Silence is not weakness, it's discipline. Observation is not passivity, it's intelligence. When you master the pause, you master your life. So from this moment forward, slow down. Say less. Watch more. Let others exhaust themselves while you quietly catch every truth hidden beneath their words. Speak only when it adds value. And let your silence carry the weight of everything you no longer need to prove. Number 3, respect yourself in private first. Before the world can respect you, before anyone can value your presence or honor your voice, you must respect yourself in private. Self-respect does not begin with applause. It does not begin with followers, likes, or validation. It begins with the whispers you speak to yourself in the dark, when no one else is watching. The most powerful transformation you'll ever undergo happens behind closed doors. It happens when you look in the mirror and say, I am worthy. Even if no one tells me so. Even if no one sees it yet. Because self-respect isn't something you earn externally. It's something you cultivate internally. It's in the choices you make when no one's watching. Do you honor your commitments to yourself? Do you keep promises you made when motivation was high but energy is low? Do you discipline yourself when it would be easier to delay? It's in the way you speak to yourself after failure. Do you tear yourself down with criticism? Or do you rebuild yourself with compassion? It's in the way you protect your peace in silence. Do you walk away from what dishonors you even when no one would know? Do you forgive yourself with grace? Do you show up for yourself when life gets heavy? Because here's the truth, the world only reflects what you project. If you carry quiet confidence rooted not in ego but in self-awareness, people will sense it. But if you doubt yourself in private, that doubt leaks into your energy. And others will treat you accordingly. Too many people think they need more followers, more compliments, more applause. But you don't need more of that. You need more self-trust. You need to believe in you. Without condition. Without waiting. Without apology. That kind of self-respect is magnetic. It commands rooms without saying a word. It sets boundaries without begging. It teaches others how to treat you by the way you already treat yourself. And it's not arrogance. It's alignment. Because if you don't respect yourself in the dark, you'll always chase validation in the light. And that chase will exhaust you. But the moment you start respecting yourself in private, your boundaries get firmer. Your energy gets cleaner. Your standards get higher. And people who once took advantage of you either rise to meet you, or they fade away. And both are gifts. Every time you honor yourself in private, you lay another brick in the foundation of your self-worth. Over time, that foundation becomes unshakable. Respect yourself first. Because when you do, the world has no choice but to follow. Number 4, set the standard, and never lower it. There is an invisible contract you carry with the world, the standard you set for yourself. Every relationship you enter, every opportunity you attract, every environment you choose, they are all filtered through that standard. If your standard is low, your life will mirror it back to you. Painfully. Consistently. But the moment you raise your standard, the moment you decide that you are no longer available for anything beneath your worth, your life begins to restructure itself from the inside out. This is not about perfection. This is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's about self-respect. It's about declaring, I will not shrink to be accepted. I will not bend to be chosen. I will not lower my standard to make others comfortable. Because when you lower your standard for others, you don't just dishonor yourself, you teach them that your worth is negotiable. And once they know that, they will test it every single time. But when your standard is rooted in clarity, in self-worth, in non-negotiable values, people either rise to meet you, or they fall away. And either outcome is a blessing. Your standard determines everything, the quality of your relationships, the depth of your conversations, the level of peace in your mind, the direction of your life. And here's the truth, high standards make you rare. People will call you too much. But too much for who? Too much for those unwilling to grow. Too much for those afraid to rise. Too much for those who prefer easy access to greatness they haven't earned. That's not your problem. You were not born to be convenient. You were born to be consistent with your calling. So stop apologizing for having expectations. Stop diluting your boundaries to keep the peace. Stop accepting crumbs when you deserve the table. Because when someone truly respects you, they will not be intimidated by your standard. They will be inspired by it. But here's the key. Once you set your standard, you must protect it with everything you have. Do not waver when loneliness knocks. Do not compromise when pressure builds. Do not justify mediocrity because you're afraid of standing alone. Stand firm. Stand tall. Stand in the knowing that every time you uphold your standard, you reinforce your worth. And every time you compromise it, you weaken the foundation of your confidence. Your standard is your compass. It keeps you aligned when the world tries to pull you off course. It helps you say no when the wrong thing looks temporarily right. And yes, you will be tested. People will push to see if you'll bend. Don't. Let your standards be the stone walls that guard your peace. Let your values be the unshakable roots that hold you steady. Because here's the truth, your life rises or falls to the level of your standard. So set it high. Set it with courage. And never lower it, even if it means walking alone for a season. Because that lonely season will take you to places compromise could never lead you. Number 5, walk away without drama. There is a rare and sacred strength in walking away without drama. Most people stay far too long in relationships that drain them, in friendships that suffocate them, in environments that dim their light, because they're afraid. Afraid of being alone. Afraid of what others will say. Afraid of the silence that follows goodbye. But the truth is this, walking away is not weakness. Walking away is clarity. When you walk away without burning bridges, without posting quotes online, without indirect messages meant to prove a point, you reclaim your power. Because real closure doesn't come from dramatic exits. It comes from knowing, I deserve better. And I no longer need to prove that to anyone. You don't need to explain why. You don't need to make them understand. You don't need to win the argument. Because peace doesn't live in other people's understanding. Peace lives in your decision. Walking away quietly is not about punishing them. It's about protecting you. It's about valuing your future more than you fear the loss of your past. Yes, it hurts. Yes, goodbyes sting. But nothing hurts more than staying in a place where you are unseen, unvalued, and unappreciated. The one who can walk away without drama doesn't just command respect, they embody it. Because everyone can argue. Everyone can explode. Everyone can perform anger. But not everyone can leave in silence, in dignity, in unwavering self-respect. That is power. Final thoughts, the shift that changes everything. There is one decision, just one shift, that can change everything about how the world treats you. Withdraw excess access. Speak less and observe more. Respect yourself in private. Set your standard high and never lower it. Walk away without drama. When you embody these principles, you don't have to demand respect, it flows to you. You don't have to beg for value, it radiates from you. You don't have to scream to be heard. Your silence speaks louder than noise ever could. You stop living small. You stop apologizing. You stop waiting for someone to tell you you're enough. Because you finally understand, you've been enough all along. This is the shift. This is the decision. Do it once, and people will never see you the same again.